just to like give you context, like I know we talked about this, but I'm gonna go into it just a little bit. So the documentary we're trying to figure out is essentially we're looking at education, specifically like bachelor's degree. You could turn and talk to me, by the way. You don't have to like.
Yeah, go like that.
Just
Okay.
fuck that. Yeah. So like what we're doing is we're looking at like the undergraduate like world, and we're trying to figure out like where the value is of it.
Okay.
We're gonna kind of just juxtapose it like to, things like the financial crisis and things that like would have affected like the job market and
Okay.
like how a college education like kind of fits into these big pieces. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's a lot of what we're doing right now is we're gonna like ask you a lot of questions about yourself first of all, but then also about like your education.
Okay.
Obviously.
Sure.
So okay, so we're gonna start. Just please introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. To you. Okay.
Who are you?
So, my name is Alex Corona. I'm a college senior at the College of New Jersey. My name is Alex Corona. I'm a senior at the College of New Jersey. I study mass media communications and I have a minor in business management.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna say first, like, if that happens and you fuck up, don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Okay.
Like, don't. It's not.
Don't even like
You're not
retake
gonna
it.
Be perfect. Whatever.
Okay,
It's,
word.
It's just normal,
Cool.
Okay, so you just said it, but what is your major in college?
My major in college is mass media communications.
Okay. Why?
I chose that because I didn't really know what I wanted to do coming into college, and so I figured communications would just kind of be a natural place to start. And I chose mass media because I didn't really I knew I didn't want to do the radio, TV, film thing, and I figured mass media you can apply it to like marketing or just business in general. I feel like there's a lot of foundational things in there that you could apply to a lot of things. So I just figured that's where I start.
What do you think about it so far?
The major as a whole.
I guess yeah, and how you fit into it.
I think I like it. I like the path I've taken. It's definitely done what I thought it would do, and it gave me a communications background in that it taught me like the value of communication and the theories of it, and applying that into the real world and kind of being able to identify why something is happening because of how people are communicating. And it's also touched upon the business aspects like advertising or how those theories are used in business, and I've been able to apply that in my professional experiences. So I would say I like it.
How do you think it compares to having like a business degree in, you could do marketing, you could do advertising,
Yeah.
do things that are like more specific, but like, how do you think it compares to that?
I think that the mass media communications degree, while it teaches you a lot of the foundational things that you can apply to marketing and business, it doesn't tell you the nitty-gritty of it, almost like the terms and the definitions and the ideas that you would need in the business setting. So I think the reason I enjoy it so much is because I learn the basics and then I apply it to my marketing internships and business internships. So it's kind of like a fusion of the two is what really gives me the full experience.
Okay, and you said you're a minor too, right?
Yeah, business management minor.
Yeah, cool. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Okay, so I guess, is there anything about it that you don't like? Is there anything about your major that you don't like, or that skills you wish you had that like you wish
Yeah.
could be filled there?
The thing I don't like about my major is kind of going off of what I was saying. You learn the foundations of things, but the only way I would know how to actually utilize them as skills is if I applied them in the real world. I kind of wish I got that sort of understanding in school a little bit more rather than just kind of learning the basics and being thrown into work, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. You're saying in classes you wish.
Yeah. In classes, I wish we learned how to apply what we're learning into a practical setting more.
Okay. Cool. Do you think that's possible to do? I'm just thinking.
I think with some classes,
With some things.
with some things it could be, with others it couldn't be. Yeah, that's the other thing about the major. While I'm a mass media communications, I also have to take my liberal learning requirements. And so, or not liberal learning, just major requirements as a whole. So I have to delve into the side of communication that doesn't really apply to me, like radio, TV, film, or film classes, things like that, which I like and I personally am very interested in. But at the end of the day, it doesn't tell me what I can do in life, or like how I can apply a useful skill in life.
Yeah, that makes sense. You said liberal learning. I mean, you didn't mean it.
Yeah. You want me to go again?
No. Like I'm saying, with liberal learning.
Oh yeah.
Like, how could liberal learning? How do you think that liberal learning has like affected your education? So like, obviously, that's something that we've heard like here.
Yeah.
We've talked our asses off about that.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think? Positives and negatives of it. Like,
I liked liberal learning because it allowed me to take classes and learn things that I normally wouldn't have. Because when you come into college, you're kind of on this focused path of what you want to do and how you're going to get there, what skills you're going to acquire to get there. And so liberal learning allowed me to sort of say, hey, this class isn't necessary or foundational to my career, but it's something that interests me. Like, I took a sociology class, and that really has nothing to do with what I want to do with my life, but it was interesting to learn about that. And now that's like a little facet of knowledge that I have just because I had to take the class. So I definitely enjoyed it. It allowed me to broaden my horizons of what I do learn. At the same time, the downside is you're taking classes that, while they're interesting, sometimes, or no, the downside is sometimes you're forced to take a class that you have no interest in just to fulfill a requirement. And that's one class of a semester that costs X amount of dollars that you're wasting on something you don't want to be there for, and it's not going to teach you anything, and it's just a waste of time. So yeah, I would say that's the downside.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your major, like you said, like there's pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything, but like that's
Yeah.
especially with that. All right, cool. How do you think college has prepared you? College as a whole, not just classes.
Yeah.
But in general, I also didn't mention this, but part of what we're also doing is we're separating it by college as in classes, so like academics. We're separating it into like the professional world,
Yeah.
so like internships, stuff like that. And then we're also separating into like social life.
Okay, cool.
And like maturing and like you promote.
Yeah,
personal,
sure.
Like
The complete
growth
experience.
that
Yeah, I got you.
So we're kind of looking at those like a little more in detail.
Nice.
All three. So how do you think college like as a whole has prepared you for one, job, and two, like the real world?
Sure. I would say college has prepared me well to get a job and go into the real world because of all the different facets of information that you learn. Academically, you do pick up skills and you learn how to work, you learn how to collaborate with different people, you learn how to overcome really tough tasks that are assigned to you, you learn how to do work that you don't want to do but you have to get done. A lot of practical business skills. And I'd say personally, college has done a lot for me. I would say honestly, I've learned a lot more personally than I have academically at college. And that's not to discredit the academics you learn, because I have learned a lot, but college is a time where you learn who you are and you kind of grow into yourself, and you learn your skills, and you learn what you like and what you don't like, and kind of what drives you and what doesn't, and the people you want to be around, and what the work environment that you really foster like your fullest potential is. And you can't learn that just by living at home, you know what I mean? When you're alone, living on your own without your parents or family, and you kind of just get to live for yourself, I would say that's the biggest part of college, because you grow into yourself.
How does that, differ or compare to someone who, for example, they graduate high school and they move out of their house and they just start working in like whatever?
I would say it differs from someone it differs from someone who moves out of the house and lives alone, because as a college student, you enter that phase of life, but with like hundreds of people around you that are also entering that phase of life. So it's this combination of all these people learning this lesson together. And so you're not thrown into the real world where if you make a mistake, it could severely damage your life. You're almost eased into this culture, and you understand that everyone around you is also easing into this culture. So as everybody's growing into themselves, you understand the growing pains, and there's like a co-understanding of what's going on, I'd say. So it almost makes it safer, and a more like lost my train of thought, I guess. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes it safer for like for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, it makes it. Yeah, it essentially provides the environment where it's okay and encouraged to do that because everybody's doing it.
That's interesting. That's cool. That's true. Which is also like the whole political thing with like, when people say, "Oh, safe spaces," But
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
There's value to it.
Exactly. It's like the bird leaving the nest. Like you got to grow up in the nest before you can leave, and college is kind of the nest where you can actually learn how to be an adult.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, that's true.
If you will.
All right, cool. So we're gonna talk about like professional stuff.
Cool.
A little bit. So we're gonna start with when you were younger.
Mm.
So what did you want to do when you were 5 years old? You were running around the house.
Yeah.
And you had these dreams of being.
Yeah, I honestly, ever since I was a little kid, and I could still remember what my parents would ask me. They'd ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And for as long as I remember, I would just say, all I want to do is help people. And I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know what facet of the job sector that would mean. But at the end of the day, I just wanted my work to improve the life of another person. And so in 5th grade, I remember writing in my yearbook I wanted to be a chef because I figured people get a lot of like enjoyment out of eating food. So I wanted to be a chef. And then that left quickly. And then I thought I wanted to be a doctor because I figure healthcare is something that just everybody needs it, and it can, it's a matter of life and death for a lot of people. So to be on the side that can save someone is amazing. And I went through a medical program at high school. I loved the healthcare system and I loved doing it, but at the end of the day, I wasn't driven, or I didn't have the passion for healthcare to make me want to go through 7+ years of school after college. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to help people, but I'm still trying to figure out what that means.
Yeah, that's college.
Yeah, exactly.
That's college.
That's the nest, baby. Yeah.
The nest, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I know you kind of said you don't really know, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Yeah, sure.
What do you want to do after college?
After college, well, I don't know exactly what I want to do. Like I said, when I was a kid, I want to help people. I want to do something that I can interact with people, and hopefully something that where my work has an impact on another person's life.
10 years down the line.
Yeah.
What is like the job you want to end up in?
Something in healthcare. I don't know what specifically. Something that lets me interact with people, and something in the healthcare industry. What the specific job title is, I'm not sure, because if I knew that, I would have a better idea of where I could go. Yeah, I'd be there already. I'd be working on it. But definitely something in healthcare that allows me to work with people. I'd love to work for a hospital. I've always liked that idea. I interned in a hospital when I was a kid, and so I kind of feel like that's where my life's going. But to what degree, I'm not sure yet.
Interesting. Was there a point where, like, I mean, it seems, even though you said at first, like, oh, I don't really know where I'm going, like, you kind of do.
Yeah.
You know your direction.
Yeah.
I want to end up in like the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
At some point, was there one point where, that was decided, where you're like, huh, like I really like this.
I went through. Yeah, there was definitely a point where I kind of realized that's what I want to do, because